Hello there! Welcome back to Dubster Dive. Series where we take a look at something's English dub and let you know if the dub is alright and the show itself is alright. And this time we're covering something that, is an admitted guilty pleasure of mine. Oh yeah, I don't think this show is very good. And hey, if you do out there, that is cool. You know, that is 100% awesome. More power to you. But, yeah. This show is definitely something. A rom-com focused on a dude wanting to get revenge on someone who bullied him when he was younger? Hey man, this sounds like it could be a lot of fun. And it is, as long as you turn your brain off, I guess. So, let's get into this, shall we? Masamune-kun's Revenge is a manga written by Hazuki Takeoka, probably butchered that, and illustrated by Tib, yeah, just T-I-B, who apparently was the illustrator for Heaven's Memo Pad. The anime would be done by Studio Silverlink, who did Misfit of Demon King Academy, Our Last Crusade, and Girlfriend Beta. What, is the girlfriend a beta, or is the dude she's dating a beta? That title confuses me. Anyway, the anime would air on January 2017 and run till March, with a dub by Funimation. And yeah, don't worry, Season 2 is also going to be covered in this video, and we'll cover that when it's relevant. So for right now, let's just focus on S1. So, Masamune's Revenge, as I said, follows a dude named Masamune, who he was fat, in the words of Scott Steiner, when he was younger, and was bullied and nicknamed Pig's Foot by a very rich chick named Aki Aragaki. The woman that made him want to get better into the point of where he's now, you know, a muscular hunk, as he puts it. And now that they're in high school, wants to make her fall in love with him so that way he can break up with her and crush her heart the same way she crushed his when he was younger. And the thing is that she doesn't know who he is anymore, because it's been 8 years since their last meeting, and he just now transferred to their school and has a new last name. So, yeah. And I guess Masamune, to be fair, that wouldn't be enough of a giveaway, even though he has the same first name. So, either way, what follows is a bunch of shenanigans, including Aki. Again, she's a rich bitch family, so her attendant named Yoshino does recognize Masamune, even calling him Pig's Foot when no one else is around, as she thinks that Aki needs to be humbled by the experience of Masamune getting his vengeance on her. Thus, they scheme in the background. All the while, there's other students introduced into the factors that make this into a love triangle, quadrangle, I know what I said, five triangle, you get the idea. And, yeah. As far as Aki herself, the woman is a monster, rejecting guys outright and giving them really cruel nicknames, including, nicknaming a character voiced by Damon Mills who hits on her, Pudding Prince, making him get so angry he actually tries attacking her with scissors. Did I mention this show is stupid yet? But yeah. Needless to say, it's all stupid fun. I can't hate this show, even though I think Aki is, again, a complete bitch. We'll get to that when I break down the characters, though. As far as animation, I gotta sleep hit. I keep hitting my mic accidentally. It's getting... But yeah, animation, I can't tell that. But what I can tell you is I've heard Silverlink do good work, so yeah. As far as the soundtrack, it's your typical rom-com affair. The one song I would recommend looking up if you don't watch this anime, look up the song Heartbreak. It's the character Neko Fujinomiya's theme, and it is honestly a really, I guess the one word would be, you know, beautiful piece on piano. That's really good. I genuinely enjoyed that song. So, anytime it plays, you know you're in for a treat, I guess you could say. And yeah. Now let's get to the reason this is called Dubster Dive, and I could go over the characters a bit. So the ADR director for this one is Alexis Tipton, who also voices young Aki. You bitch, casting yourself. Nah, it's cool. It's cool. Young Aki's barely there. With the scriptwriter being Emily Meaves. And the script, I've got some things to say, but I'll wait till we go over everyone. So first, we have Masamune, voiced by Josh Greeley, Vengeance from Black Clover, and Ace from Puzzle and Dragon's Cross. Anyone remember that series? No? And Mao from The Devil is a Part-Timer. And again, you're going to notice we say this a lot. This is one of those dubs everyone involved is having the time of their life being in because of how trashy the show is. Josh is no exception. He even has to make the signature noises that you'd expect him to make after all these years. And also having to give off the, confident guy, like, yeah, man, I'm super hot, when he's, walking down the hallways and all these chicks are staring at him or whatever. I will say, though, you also hear him voice his younger self, and it is clearly killing his throat to do that. I feel like they should have gotten another voice actor to portray young Masamune. But, yeah. Overall, I think he did alright. I'm going to go over Masamune himself afterward. I'm going over everyone when I actually, deep dive into these characters. But let's get through this first. Next, we have Aki Aragaki, voiced by Morgan Garrett. Seraphim from Is This a Zombie? Bring that show back already, guys. The mother from My Home Hero, I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, and I should have written it down. And Tio from Arifreta, the dragon. Again, you could tell she's having fun here, especially when she's voicing a straight-up cunt. Because, yeah, Aki at times can be, again, downright cruel. So, we'll get to her in a bit, though. After her, we have her attendant, Yoshino, who I mentioned briefly before, voiced by Monica Royale. Dante from the 03 FMA series. This party's getting crazy. Yeah, I know, not that Dante. And Mitty from Made in Abyss. Also Stocking from Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. All that script is probably going to be fucked when Season 2 comes out. And honestly, to be fair, I think Monica does alright here. Again, Yoshino is someone who acts cutesy and innocent and everything, but behind closed doors you could tell she's also a bit, shall we say, mean herself. Remember, she does call Masamune Pig's Foot whenever they're alone together, even nicknaming that all the time or whatever. And you'll notice that she's the only one who calls him that. Again, that's going to be important later. So, look at that. Monica voicing a character that pretends to be nice on the outside but is actually cruel behind closed doors. Anyway. After her, we have Neko Fujinomiya. A chick who shows up claiming to know Masamune from their younger days and is in love with him, throwing a wrench into the whole revenge plan. Voiced by Megan Shipman, who's Anya from Spy Family, and Katase Shiori from My Tiny Senpai. And I'm going to put it up front right here. Megan Shipman is the MVP of this dub. Every single one of her scenes, you can tell she's putting her all into it. There's a scene where she does confess her love to Masamune with the song Heartbreak mentioned before up above, and it is honestly the best dub scene in the entire series across both seasons. Megan does an awesome job here, and she nails the character. Again, we'll go deeper into her in a bit, because someone, I'm sure, is going to point out one thing about Neko that is unforgettable. But yeah. Screw it, we'll go into it now. Neko goes commando. Yeah, she doesn't wear anything underneath her skirt or whatever. And she makes a comment saying that anxiety like that is healthy for the heart, which is why she does it. Yeah, okay. Everyone even nicknames her Commando after that. Also, when she first meets Masamune, she says that it's a gift from God that they reunited and goes on about how godly this meeting is, and then that's never brought up again about her whole, worshipping God thing. That's just confusing. But yeah. We'll come back to her in a bit, though. After her, we have Kojiro, who's the femboy of the class and Masamune's friend, I guess you could say. Hell, they even label him the designated bottom in the dub. That's an actual thing they call him. Voiced by Justin Briner, Deku from My Hero Academia, and Jinro from Dr. Stone. And Justin Briner is probably one of the few voice actors, male voice actors I should say, that can voice a character like this and come across extremely girly while doing it. Because a lot of other times you can tell it's someone who's pretending, or a guy pretending to sound that way, and it sounds really bad. Reiner, I'd say, is one of the few that can maybe get away with this. But yeah. Overall, though, yeah, his whole thing is he wants to be seen as more manly and masculine, and is sick of all the women treating him like a girl or feminine or whatever. Which is, pretty understandable with how he is, looks and acts and all that. But yeah. After him, we have Kanetsugu. Now this is going to require some explaining. Kanetsugu is voiced by Ryan Reynolds, the anime voice actor, not Deadpool, who's voiced by the cross-dressing version of Shido from Date Alive, and young Sosuke from the Free franchise. So Kanetsugu is a fat dude who shows up near the end of Season 1, pretending to be the Masamune that Aki grew up with, in order to basically be in an arranged marriage with her, so that way he can get money for his household, because his household is now becoming poor. So, yeah. Kanetsugu's kind of a dick. Yeah, no, do that in a bit. He even lies to Aki's friends, because Aki's friends, Aki's basically become full man-hating, so she hates any man that asks her out and rejects him as cruelly as possible. And her friends are all behind her for it. You know, they're all feminazis, I guess you could say. So when Kanetsugu starts hitting on her, they're like, what are you doing? Kanetsugu's like, hey, wouldn't you rather her be with a fat ass like me? After all, I'm not going to make any moves on her, and I'll keep her off the market from all the hot guys. Her friends buy this, by the way. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds, again, has fun here. Now, after Kanetsugu, we have Masamune's family. First, Chinatsu, Masamune's little sister, voiced by Skylar Davenport, who's Azusa from I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years, Why Are There So Many Damn Moe-esque Isekais, and Minerva from ReZero. Give us Season 3, man. I mean, we know it's coming, but yeah. Nothing much to say. His sister's more or less a glorified side character, although she does do the annoying trope of accusing him of stealing her panties when it turns out it was false. Yeah, damn it, lie. Anyway, moving on from her, we have Masamune's mother, Kinue, who's a lolly that's in her mid-40s, yet still, well, yeah, people make fun of her appearance, saying how unrealistic it looks. Anyway, she's voiced by Natalie Hoover, Sonya Nevermind from the Danganronpa franchise, and Arisu from Akiba's strip anime. And again, you could tell she's having a lot of fun with this type of character, especially with how Kinue loves sweets and is obsessed with food and stuff, and Natalie Hoover herself is a massive foodie, so I'm sure she got a kick out of that. Only a few side characters left, then we can really get into the shitty-gritty of this. Next we have Futaba, class rep, voiced by Caitlin Glass, Winry from Fullmetal Alchemist, and Satellaizer from Freezing, a show Crunchyroll and Funimation would probably want you to forget they actually had a hand in dubbing and stuff. And she's also a massive Fujoshi. Futaba, I mean. I don't know if Caitlin Glass is. I mean, she might be. I don't know. She even nicknames her ship Masa Koju, shipping Masamune with femboy Kojiro. And there's a lot of jokes about that. So, yeah. Caitlin Glass's character is very fun-loving, upbeat, and energetic. And, again, you can tell she's in her element voicing characters like this. But yeah. Now, we have the three idiots, as I've dubbed them, Aki's friends. First, Mari, voiced by J.D. Toronto, Android 21 from DBZ, or Fighter Z, and Yume from Grimgar, Fantasy, and Ashes, or whatever you want to call it. Ashes and Illusion? Yeah. I'm just going to go over all three of these at once, because these characters don't really do much other than being a cheer squad for her. Because after her, we have Sonika, voiced by Tia Ballard, who's Happy from Fairy Tail and Eden Zero, and Zero Two from Darling in the Franxx. Again, none of these portrayals are bad, but these characters are sort of one note. And then the last one we have is Kikune, voiced by Dawn Bennett, Kale from Dragon Ball Super, and Minoa from Anime Guitaris. And she's the only one that gets any form of a backstory. So Kikune worships Aki because she's a kendo student, basically. And when she was younger, a dude she fought in kendo apparently cheated and beat her and made her extremely angry and hate men or some shit. And then she saw Aki reject the guy violently and brutally outside. So, you know. Yeah. Good times. The last one I'm going to go over is Yoshino's sister, voiced by Jamie Marchi. Yeah, Monica and Jamie are related in this anime, go figure. She's barely here, though. Panny from Panty and Stocking, and Lucuo from Dragon Maid. So, yeah. But that's all of our main players for Season 1. So, as far as the dub itself goes, I think it's pretty solid. You know, everyone involved is having a lot of fun. Jamie Marchi still sounds like shit, but that's never gonna... My opinion on that's never changing. As far as the script itself, well, let's just go over a few things. Masamune labeling his plan to get revenge, dead or love, only to change it in episode 2 onward, love or death. Or how, when they're studying for a test, one of the questions is, a name for a male puppy. The answer, a son of a bitch. That cracked me up, I'm not gonna lie. Also, there's a ghost face reference when they're on vacation at a beach house. You know, the typical test of courage thing, and he has a chainsaw for some reason. Just, why? But yeah, as far as other dubisms, there's a scene where Neko collapses from being sick. Yeah, she's really sickly. Again, we'll get to that. And Masamune shouts, "I'll call 411! No, wait, I mean 911! Pretty sure in Japan it's 119, isn't it? But yeah, you could tell that's dub only. I don't mind that change very much, you know, that type of localization, I suppose. Also, I wonder if this show were made today, how many fat jokes they would make towards Kanetsugu. Like, Masamune calling him lard ass, saying he has the physique of a Buddhist statue, etc. Oh yeah, they also have terms in this like va-va-voom, which, again, I don't think I need to say anything more than that. But yeah, also, this is something that's confusing. The karaoke singing scene in Season 1 isn't dubbed, yet for Season 2 it is. And this series never got a Blu-ray release, so... that's just weird. The last thing I'll point out in the dub itself script specifically that I thought was funny is Season 1's climax culminates in Aki's class and Masamune's class both putting on a play for Snow White. And if Masamune's class wins doing a better play, he gets to dance with Aki. Where if Aki's class wins, then she gets to stay with Kanetsugu, which seems to be who she wants to be with at that particular time. Now, in Masamune's class, Snow White will be played by Kojiro, and Masamune will be the prince. And when they debate this, yeah, Aki's class, like, no one wants to see Snow White with two men. Whereas Aki's class has Aki being the Snow White princess and Kanetsugu being the prince, and the response from Futaba, hold your shock, she's the one that casted Masamune's class, you know, Fujoshi and all, says no one wants to see a fat prince either. Oh man, with modern Snow White coming up, that is hilarious. Also, all the dwarves in Aki's play are women, so it just makes it even dumber. But yeah. Anyway. Like I said, the dub script itself has some Western terminology, but as of now for Season 1 in particular, nothing that's completely broken in my particular opinion. But yeah. But it's time to go from that into the characters themselves. We're going to be spoiling the hell out of this one, so if you still want to watch this, which, again, if you turn your brain off, I'd still recommend it, go for it. Because I need to explain why Aki is probably up there with Nino, in my opinion, of a character I can't stand. Along with that bitch from Chivalry the Failed Knight. So, we learn Aki was stood up by her one friend who was a dude when she was younger, and this is why she hates men, as she rejects them viciously, as I said before, giving them nicknames and all that sort of stuff. In fact, she starts to go on some dates with Masamune because he finds out that she puts food away like a horse. Yeah, her eating habits are ridiculous. She even treats all of her friends around her like shit, too. By that I mean Yoshino treating her like a dog. Look, Yoshino's family is meant to be, servants to your higher class one, but... yeah. I mean, you have to treat her like shit, man. Hell, she even says at one point she's only dating Masamune because Yoshino lied on Masamune's behalf, telling Aki that he would do self-harm if she didn't go on a date with him. What the fuck? Also, there's that whole moment where she's changing in a dressing booth. She screams on top of her lungs. Masamune rushes in and is like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And, she beats the shit out of him. That's what's... But yeah, she always does this. Instead of just speaking things out, there's a scene where she sees Yoshino and Masamune talking and immediately gets pissed off and jealous at this, thinking he might be cheating on her, and almost gets hit by a car. By the way, that car was driven by Neko, and it's the first time she shows up. So when he saves her from the car, Neko, after being reunited with Masamune for several years, again, he doesn't remember her, she does, jumps into his arms, saying, "I can't believe it's been so long." Masamune clearly states, "I don't know who you are, what is happening here?" as Aki shouts, "Go die," before running off. What the fuck? It's not till later when she's nearly about to drown in a swimming pool and he saves her from that she's willing to listen to him. When he claims he likes her, again, all according to his revenge keikaku, she says, "I'll only believe you if you kiss me." He goes for it, and of course, she belts him away. Bitch, you asked for this! She does claim that it was out of reflex and she doesn't understand why when he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" But yeah. There's a scene where Masamune, actually sees how cruelly she rejects people and is tempted to do that himself when Neko asks him out. Oh yeah, trust me, we're gonna get to Masamune after Aki, because he's kind of a dick too. And she says the reason she likes him is because of his modesty. It's like, why didn't I think of that answer? I'm gonna use that on Aki if she ever asks me why I like her so much. So he uses this on Aki. Yeah, he doesn't reject Neko cruelly, don't worry. When she says that, he says he can't be a dick now, so he at least learned that lesson. But yeah, she says, "Are you an idiot? I'm not modest. I know how great I am. Come up with a better one." It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, they're a bit on off terms. But at the beach vacation, we're closing in on the end of Season 1. Her family secretary, voiced by Rachel Robinson, Irene from Fairy Tail, asks if Masa and her are dating, and Masamune says yes, jumping the gun. She's worried about appearances, seeing how happy the secretary is that she's with someone, so she goes along with it. Yeah. I take it you all see what I'm getting at here. But hey! She sees him save the secretary from the test of courage situation, and it seems like she starts to like him now. Maybe she's actually not going to be that bad. Maybe she learned her lesson until immediately next episode when they're on a date at a restaurant. And remember how I told you how much this bitch can eat, man. She eat more food away. Masamune zones out thinking of his own situation going on, where something from his house was stolen. It was a photo, and he doesn't know what happened to it. A photo of him when he was younger. That could really expose his secret, because he's trying to keep his past a secret from Aki. Right, so he's zoning out when she's asking him a question. She rage quits the date, leaving him with the bill. It sounds like I'm cutting out a lot of stuff. I'm genuinely not. A lot of her shit is like this. Oh, sure, there are moments where she actually is nice. For example, Masamune does end up rejecting Neko in this episode, and she ends up going missing, basically running away from home. Aki agrees to help find her, and Masamune is surprised, saying, it seemed like you never liked Neko. Aki admits that she didn't. However, she can empathize with how Neko poured her heart out to a guy, and then ran away after being rejected, being hurt by it. She knows what it's like to be in a situation like this. Masamune even thinks how bullshit this is to himself, with how cruelly she rejects every man around her, because it's clear Aki believes men don't have any soul whatsoever either and can handle it. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, after Neko is found, Aki is starting to try not falling in love with Masamune because, you know, he's such a cool guy. But that's when Kanetsugu shows up, pretending to be the fat Masamune that she grew up with. Because, yeah, apparently Kanetsugu said his nickname when he was younger was Masamune, and Aki believes this? And, yeah, she wants to relive those glory days with the one person, the one guy that she felt was always nice to her and never let her down until the, you know, day he ran away. You know what I mean? But now that they're reunited, she's with Kanetsugu. As her three friends even ask her if she's a chubby chaser. But we've still got a couple of characters to go over, so let me just wrap this up real quick for Season 1. After the Snow White play happens, let's just say Kanetsugu can't make it. Masamune steps in to be the prince in her play, and is actually working through a fever because he gets sick during the play. How cliche. And she goes to reward him afterwards. But instead of giving him a kiss when she says close your eyes, she just shares her food with him. And yeah, that's Aki for Season 1. You can tell that she's trying to be nicer in her own way, but I don't... There's literally a claim from Yoshino at one point in one of the seasons where she says, once you get to know the real Aki, she's impossible to hate or dislike. Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. From everything I described, let me know if you agree with that, especially if you guys have seen the show, which if you have and, you know, disagree with me, that's also cool too. Yeah. But yeah, now that's Aki. Let's move on to Masamune. Pursues vengeance above all else. And again, goes on about muscles are food. He doesn't need anything else. He's all obsessed with his appearance because appearance is everything. There's even a scene in episode 1 where he's walking to school and sees, you know, high school tennis team going on, and because he's staring, nothing happens because, as he puts it, he's hot. But a guy who's, well, ugly staring gets the shit beaten out of him, more or less. The fact that that makes sense to me hurts. But yeah. Masamune, as stated, though, is a complete dick. He rejects Neko in the best dub scene possible, as I said, with Megan Shipman or whatever, and even Josh is good here as well. Because he was Aki's friend when he was younger until she called him pig's foot in front of everyone. Because Masamune himself was bullied for his weight when he was young by everybody. And Aki was his friend for a time. Until one day when he said, I'm going to stay by her side forever because she asked me to, and she called him pig's foot. This is going to make sense when I get to Season 2, I promise. But yeah. Point is, he rejected Neko for revenge, and she ran away, feeling hurt or whatever, even forgetting her medication so she could particularly be, or she could be in danger of getting sick, whatever. As he explains to the group that he knows why she ran away, that he rejected her for Aki. And Aki and everyone else is immediately concerned for Neko's well-being, as he's more concerned that Aki didn't even comment on his confession there, that he's more interested in her than Neko. Okay. Dick move, man. To be fair, he does end up finding Neko and regretting this thought, it seems like. And he's also trying not to fall for Aki for realsies. I mean, how could you not fall for her? She's such a charmer. But yeah. But, yeah. Hell, I mentioned earlier, though, when Aki was first about to say that she loved him for his modesty, he was going to reject her violently to see what it would be like, also so Neko would finally leave him alone. And he did back down from doing that, but the fact he still had that thought in the first place kind of makes him a dick. But, again, to give a quick shout-out to Season 2, when people do ask him out in that one, when chicks ask him out in Season 2, he does say, I'm not a monster, I'll reject them kindly. So, I guess he does lighten up a bit on this shit. So, Masamune is a dick, but I still don't think he's anywhere near as bad as Aki. Then again, that's debatable, because at least you could tell Masamune does seem to regret his actions a lot of the time. With Aki, it's a bit more difficult to tell. Now on to Yoshino. Don't worry, we're not going to go over everybody, and a lot of these characters are going to be much quicker to get through. So Yoshino is helping Masamune to humble Aki because she's tired of being, I guess you could say, abused by her. She even claims when they were younger, Aki strapped her to a rocket just to see if she could blast off into space using fireworks. Like, holy shit. But yeah. Her nickname is the Treacherous Witch. And yeah. She does admit, though, she's having a lot of fun with Masamune. More fun than she's had in a very long time. She says that to her sister, by the way. Planning these schemes and everything. But even she isn't free from her own moments of dickishness. At the beach house episode, she blackmails Masamune, saying if he doesn't get Aki on his side soon, by the end of the trip, she'll reveal to Aki, his past of him being pig's foot from her or whatever. And yeah. Again, she doesn't end up doing it, but the threat is still there. That's why I said the show's trashy. You're following a bunch of assholes, but for some reason I can't look away, you know? Because it's fun. It's fun just to watch these people fuck each other over. Which brings us to Neko, who, in my opinion, is best girl, because she's the nicest one, and she just wants true love, you know? But yeah, it turns out she's the one who stole the photo from Masamune's house of him when he was younger, so she knows about the whole revenge thing, because she sees a younger Aki in the photo as well. And she claims she just wanted to be reminded of better times, that she didn't mean anything malicious by it, and does apologize during her confession scene when Masamune confronts her. So, you know, she's at least making up for it. Anytime she messes up, she apologizes. But yeah. There is a moment where she gets, after this situation, where she's telling Masamune to pursue true love, not revenge, because that's not love. And again, I always love that sort of theme in a series, where vengeance corrupts all, don't go for it. It's one of the reasons I love Berserk so much, and Vinland Saga. Not like this show's anywhere near their levels, but you know what I mean. But yeah. And she even tells Aki, you know, to be nicer and go for love, etc. So, yeah, she goes away for a surgery, and it makes it sound like she's gonna be gone for a while, but she's literally back the next episode. What the fuck was the point? And her health is better now, too, so there's that. Point is, though, I don't know why Masamune doesn't pick her. He even makes comments saying that it's, you know, she just wants to be with him, and she says that appearance is only one aspect of a person. When he's like, but, you know, what if I ever became fat again? She's like, I don't care, appearance is only one aspect, you know? The personality and everything else matters most. She's a perfect waifu! Oh, Masamune, you're pursuing your vengeance, dick. But yeah. Now, the last character I want to go over is Kanetsugu. And actually, I just realized, I right away already went over him. Everything we learned about him for Season 1. So, he just wants to marry Aki for his family, because his household is suffering. And that's really it. You know? It sounds like I'm cutting out a lot, and I am. There are some scenes that are freaking hilarious. And as I said, the show is entertaining as hell. It's trashy, but Season 1 in general is still fun and stupid in its own way. It's like a train wreck. You can't look away from it, you know? Moving on from that, though, there was a rumor for ages that Masamune would be getting an OVA or something to that effect for a follow-up. But instead of that, Masamune's Revenge R would be a full 12-episode season airing in July of 2023. And this series, another reason I wanted to cover it, is because it's sort of a time capsule. Because in the course of 6 years, Masamune's Revenge between Season 1 and 2 several voice actors would change their names, Funimation would die, and Crunchyroll would have to take over, and yeah, even the director and scriptwriters would change on the project. This is hilarious to me. So yeah, Masamune's Revenge R would cover the remainder of the manga, and it was a same-day simuldub for all 12 episodes, meaning it literally wrapped up at the same time as Japan. Yeah, they picked this to same-day simuldub over all their other shows like Jobless Reincarnation or Jujutsu Kaisen. I have so many fucking questions why this one got picked. But back to the point, some of the voice actors that changed names are Masamune's voice actor. Josh now goes by Jesse James. I'm still going to call him Josh. See Shimoneta's Dubster Dive for reasons on that. Aki's voice actor, Morgan Garrett, now goes by Morgan LeRae. And Kinoue, Masamune's mother, now goes by Natalie Rose instead of Natalie Hoover. But otherwise, it's all still the exact same cast. Although I will have to mention, Ryan Reynolds, I don't know what happened to her specifically. Maybe she had surgery or something, but her voice sounds way more fucking masculine in this season, and marathoning them both back to back, when her portrayal as Kanetsugu, it's extremely fucking noticeable, and at times even a little distracting if you marathon them like this. But yeah, it's the same person, even though it doesn't sound like it. Overall, though, everyone still brings their A game and is still having a lot of fun voicing these characters. But now the ADR director is Jade Saxon, with assistant ADR directors being Morgan LeRae and Aaron Campbell, and the script now being Kieran Flinton. I'm going to go over the script because this is one I actually do have a couple of problems with. But first, we got the new characters. There's only 2. So, in the first few episodes, they take a field trip to France, and the first character they meet is Muriel, who's a French aspiring mangaka. And yes, she does have an accent. They do this silly accents thing. She's voiced by Rachel May, who's Judgment Princess from Love After World Domination and Sakura in Another World with My Smartphone. And yeah, her whole thing is she wants to study Japanese students in order to understand the intricacies of writing Japanese people, since she's a big manga fan and wants to write a genuine manga. That's basically her whole character. So she follows Masamune and Aki around when they're hanging out. And the other new character is her older brother, Frank, or Franck, I guess would be how it's pronounced. I don't know. Voiced by Derek Snow, Ego from Blue Lock, and Shinra from Fire Force. He was ad voices in Season 1, so I guess you could say he got promoted. And yeah, he too has an accent or whatever. But what's more noticeable is the fact that he has a massive little sister complex. Why wasn't he voiced by Stephen Fu? Miscasting, I tell ya. Anyway, his whole thing is he more or less threatens Masamune and Aki to go along with his sister's thing of showing her what it's like to write a good manga, or he'll have people do things. You all get the idea. I will mention, yeah, those are the only 2 new characters, and I think they do fine. Their accents are fun. I will mention, though, that they do say to her, in plain English, they say to Muriel, well, your Japanese is pretty good, as she's speaking to them in English. That's never not going to be stupid in English dubs, but what can you do? You know? Now, as far as the script for Season 2, before I quickly run through what happens in the plot, because we gotta get out of here, we've been at this for a while. They call Muriel Madame Weeb, which I don't know if that's in the sub too, but yeah. When Masamune's talking to Aki, he asks her if she still likes big old dogs, and yes, he says dogs like that. Also a scene where Sonika goes on about how she wasn't able to go to France, she had to go to New York, and they say, well, it's at least a place where people speak English, and she says, I'd rather a place where everyone only speaks Japanese, thanks. Saying this in perfect English. Also, Masamune calling Yoshino the bomb at one point. Do people still call each other that today? I feel like that's a bit dated as fuck. Oh, and a scene where a news ad in the background has the joke, why is 6 afraid of 7? 'Cause 7 ain't 9. Also, a scene where, Masamune goes on saying he was worried about Yoshino's bahoobs, but he should have been worried about the badonk. The one in general, though, I actually have a genuine groan over, is a scene where Neko and Futaba go to karaoke together, and this one is dubbed. I'm still going to point it out, even though this dubbed scene or singing is much shorter than Season 1, which wasn't. Still stupid. And Futaba says karaoke makes a broken heart heal much faster. Since Neko is still suffering from that, you know, the little Masamune situation. And she says that anytime you break up with someone or love someone and they don't love you back, you still have a piece of them with you. Neko says, wow, Futaba, you're extremely wise. And Futaba says, no, that's girl power. I hope you all get why I groaned at that. Then again, it's not as bad as inserting Me Too jokes into the dub, right? Fooey cooey grunge? I mean, yeah. Anyway. That's the script itself. Overall, though, this one I think had way more Western terminology than S1, and it can be a bit distracting. Like I said, I don't mind when Western stuff is in here, as long as it's done correctly. Localization, I know, is a complicated subject in general, but I feel there's a right way to do it, and there are points where you can go extremely fucking overboard, and this one, I think, does cross that line a bit. If you disagree, that's cool. Let me know. But we gotta get through this, so let's quickly run through what happens in Season 2. So Aki shares her past with Masamune and believes that the younger, fat Masamune, who she still believes is Kanetsugu, abandoned her, and she doesn't know why. We also find out that she was going through family issues when she was younger. Her parents constantly got in arguments, they were about to get divorced, and yeah. Masamune was her only real friend that she could rely on, especially because Yoshino got sick at one point. Well, when Yoshino ends up recovering, Yoshino, it's revealed, is the one who came up with the nickname Pig's Foot. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Masamune believes that this backstory that Aki believes is complete bullshit, saying it's not that he didn't just show up one day. How could she believe that? She's the one who rejected him violently and called him Pig's Foot. Aki doesn't remember this at all. So, yeah. Masamune thinks about it and realizes, wait a minute, Aki didn't even remember the name Pig's Foot when I asked her about it. The only one who knew about it was Yoshino. Oh, shit. So he confronts her about it, and yeah, Yoshino, because she was jealous that Aki was befriending Masamune instead of her, because she wanted to be Aki's rock in this situation, pretended to be Aki and reject Masamune violently when he was being pursued by bullies and he was asking for her help, saying, I'm going to stick with her forever, saying, I would never want to be with a pig's foot like you. My question is, why did young Yoshino also sound like Alexis Tipton in this flashback? It's portrayed by a completely different voice actress who wasn't credited as of right now. In every other scene, I guess they're trying to go for, well, Masamune thought it was her, even though they were best friends at this point. I'm pretty sure he'd recognize if his best friend sounded different. This is fucking stupid. Anyway, so he now understands everything and goes to save Masamune from a date with Kanetsugu, or from his faker, as he puts it. Who, it turns out, Kanetsugu was a girl the whole time! A reverse trap, if you will, who isn't doing this money to save her household, but to save her sick sister who's in the hospital. And, yeah. To be fair, there was foreshadowing of this with Kanetsugu, Masamune saying to Kanetsugu, are you even a guy at all? You're so effeminate, I'm surprised you haven't been confused for a girl yet in Season 1. So, you know, gotta say there was foreshadowing. As I said before, just like with Yoshino being the only one to call him Pig's Foot, Aki never once called him it. So it seemed like the writer did at least have stuff planned, even if I feel like this is still really stupid. But back to Kanetsugu, she seems happy now that she doesn't have to lie anymore. And hey, she even gets a job at the school and becomes friends with the crew. Even Aki forgives her, saying that she understands. And, yeah. Anyway, Masamune says date the real Masamune, me! And Aki's like, okay, sure, why not? But it's after they start dating that anytime Aki touches Masamune, he starts getting hives. Oh no, even though I'm pretty sure this didn't happen earlier in the series till now. You see what I mean about this sounding really dumb? I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure this never happened till after they started dating. Anyway. However, when he's with Yoshino, he doesn't get these hives. Huh. This could be setting up a potential ship, as he realizes the most fun he's ever had in his life was planning things out with her. And now that he realizes his revenge was all a lie, he's losing his drive, not knowing where to go. But, yeah. Aki's falling in love deeply with Masamune, but realizes the person that she's hurting the most here is Yoshino, the person that she bullied and treated like shit as a servant her whole life, so she wants to do right by her. So Aki is starting to learn and be a little nicer. And, yeah. So, she breaks up with Masamune, forcing Masamune to run away from home, back to his grandfather's. How cliche. But yeah. Aki, if you're wondering what motivates her to do this, Neko basically gives her shit, saying, you know Masamune doesn't love you like that. It's all for his revenge. How could you string him along like this? It's not real. As Aki knows it's not, saying that she doesn't care, though. She still loves him anyways, and wants to do things for herself. Again, she does break up with him after doing one more final favor with him. The favor being having him face down his younger bullies now that they're fully grown up. She tracks one of them down and has them have a talk. And hey, him and the bully make up now. The bully apologizes for everything. So that's cool. Also, the bully's voiced by Dallas Reed. You know, Austin from Black Clover. So that's neat. But yeah. So, Yoshino gives Neko shit, saying, how could you do this? It's because of you they broke up. This wasn't supposed to happen. And Neko shouts at her, saying, stop being a coward and face your feelings. At least I'm facing mine. I know it's unrequited, blah, blah, blah. Again, another really good dub scene with Megan Shipman. Also, it's, I didn't mention this, Kojiro is trying to get closer to Neko, because he falls madly in love with her by the end of Season 1. So he tries doing everything for her. But she still doesn't see him that way, because she's still hung up on Masamune. Oh, no. I was just saying, you know. And now's a good time to mention, before we get to the final episode, because Yoshino is encouraged to go pursue him to his grandfather's house and tell him how she feels. The series seems like it's trying to go with the theme of moving from the past, right? When Masamune and Aki are dating, she tries fattening him up by making him eat a shit ton of fattening foods because she wants to make him the way he was in the old days. Masamune even gives her shit saying, I'm not who I was back then. I'm not the same person. You know? Hammering that point home farther, that people change. We don't always stay the same. We're not stagnant. Keep that in mind as we get to the final episode here. But yeah. So, now I'm going to go over what happens in the final episode, which at this point I should mention everything I described took 11 episodes to get through, and I feel like we probably could have done this sooner. Maybe like 8 episodes. But who knows? Maybe I'm the retard here for thinking that. Anyway, final episode. It begins not with Yoshino's confession, but at school as the next school year begins. As it turns out, Masamune rejected her off-screen, and to quickly sum things up, he confesses his love to Aki anyway, and they start dating for realsies. What the fuck was the... So we went forward and back, and then forward and back. And apparently, if you're wondering about the hives thing, it's because Yoshino was the only person he saw as a true friend, and he didn't feel safe around Aki yet, but now that he does feel safe around her, he doesn't get hives anymore. Alright. Anyway, the series ends at another dance with Aki and Masamune dancing together, Yoshino and Neko looking on from the side, claiming that neither of them got with him, but at least they'll have a piece of Masamune in their hearts with them, since they loved him, making it a bittersweet ending for these two. As Masamune closes us out, saying that Aki is a beautiful brat with a heart of gold. If you're thinking season 1 Aki, I beg to differ on that. Regardless, though, that was Masamune's revenge. What the fuck was that ending? I was even talking about this with one of my friends, and we agreed that he probably should have ended up with Fujinomiya, Neko. That she was the best choice, she clearly genuinely loved him and wanted everything right by him, and didn't mind his appearance, whether he wanted to stay the way he was currently. She even made a comment in Season 2 saying, I know with 100% certainty I don't love you from the past, I love the current you, who you are now. That she moved on and was able to fall in love with current Masamune. Aki was having trouble doing that for a lot of this season. So it seemed like Aki was meant to be a symbol of what he needed to move on from. The chains that were holding him back. Again, the fuck. So, if you disagree with my interpretation of things, again, let me know your thoughts on this series. You know, maybe I'm interpreting a lot of things wrong, but I just don't know. This is just what I walked away with. I am kind of glad he didn't end up with Yoshino, though, since she was the one who basically kickstarted the whole series, and if it wasn't for her, none of this shit would have happened. But at the same time, he might not have ever been able to grow as a person either in the long run. So it's give and take and all that. But yeah, Yoshino was the mastermind the whole time. I don't think I really saw that coming, to be honest. At the end of the day, though, what can we take away from Masumune's Revenge? I think the show is terrible, but I still enjoyed every second watching it because it was just stupid fun and trashy as hell. So, in short, my perfect guilty pleasure anime. And that brings me to a point. What is your guys' perfect guilty pleasure anime? And, you know, don't feel ashamed to admit it. Maybe it's Gilgamesh. I don't fucking know. Maybe you love Gilgamesh. And if you don't feel guilty for liking something, more power to you. You know, I actually agree with the term guilty pleasure. It's like you shouldn't feel guilty for liking an anime or a game or something. But there's no other way to, I guess, for me to sum up Masumune's Revenge. Because I know it, in my opinion, it's not very good, but I can't help but smile when I'm watching it because of just how just stupid and fun it is. Yeah. And it covered everything from the manga to my knowledge. Even if I felt a lot of the plot developments were retarded, it still kept me guessing, still kept me coming back to see what would happen each week. The dub was still really fun, aside from some of the script changes being a bit much. You could tell everyone involved was still having the time of their lives, and, you know, you have to in order to, you know, just let everything go and have fun. Mega Chipman's still MVP of the dub. Every scene she's in, she fucking nailed, and I think she's really coming to her own as a voice actor these past few years. Between this, Anya and Spy Family, My Tiny Senpai, I think she's a really good voice actress now, and this series exemplified that even farther with all the scenes she had to carry. But hey, no one else did a bad job either. So, that's gonna do it for me though. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Let me know if you watched the show. And if you haven't watched it yet, even though I just spoiled the hot of it, should you watch it? If you're in for a trashy, fun anime where you can just turn your brain off, even watch it with friends and just, you know, just laugh at it. This is what I could see you watching with a friend and just laughing at how stupid it is. As I said, I was talking to one of my other friends about this week after week as we were like, oh, what the hell stupid direction are they going to go in now? And I had a lot of fun. As far as next time, though, we're going to go with something that's a bit darker, a bit more serious, a bit more stuff. Especially because October's coming up and, you know, gotta get there. But until next time, guys, I've been Elvis X, and thanks again for watching. Hope y'all really enjoyed this one, because this was a lot of fun to go over. Till then, have a nice day.